Well, turning now to our crypto corner. Now, Bitcoin is trading around $38,000 this afternoon after topping $40,000 for the first time in almost 6 weeks yesterday. Now, the volatility comes after Amazon denied media reports that it would begin accepting Bitcoin payments this year. And joining us now to discuss is Decrypt editor-in-chief Dan Roberts. Dan, it's great to have you back on with us. Now, many analysts are chalking up yesterday's move higher to a short squeeze after those Amazon reports. What's your take on this latest price action?
Yeah, Emily, good to be back on with you guys. I think that was certainly a part of it, maybe the key part. But I also always love to say that when crypto is moving big one direction or the other, it's almost never one thing. There is a ton of leverage in this market, and there has been for a couple of years now, especially it increased during the pandemic. About $1 billion in short positions were liquidated just in the last 48 hours. So I do think it's fair to call this a short squeeze. A lot of those shorts, some of the same people that have those positions were the same ones buying back Bitcoin to try to make up their shorts and try to recoup some of those losses. But that was part of it. And then, as I mentioned, it's usually multiple things. The Amazon report, I do think it caused a little bit of irrational exuberance. It started last week with a crypto job listing at Amazon. That was real. Everyone covered that news. But then there was one UK paper in particular that said, source at Amazon, that the company was going to be ready to accept Bitcoin as payment this year. And it looked fishy. We did not cover it at Decrypt. And it came out since that Amazon said, no, no, no. I expect Amazon's ambitions in crypto to be a little less sexy. You know, I expect things like blockchain for logistics and shipment tracking. I don't see Amazon accepting Bitcoin as payment anytime soon, but maybe I'll be wrong. But, you know, when you see a headline like that, it does move markets. And I'll point you guys to one more factor that I think has really caused this upswing in the last week. And that was Elon Musk, who really is very influential. He has the power to move crypto markets with a single tweet. Last week, he spoke at an event called The B Word with Jack Dorsey and Cathie Wood of ARK, and he indicated that Tesla would soon be willing, if the energy usage improves, to accept Bitcoin as payment again. He also revealed that SpaceX holds Bitcoin on its balance sheet and that he, Elon Musk, personally holds Ethereum. I think all of those statements, that rhetoric, also helped over the past week.
I want to get back to this short squeeze issue, Dan, because you've covered Bitcoin from the beginning, basically. Is there a metric that people who are less savvy with cryptocurrencies can look at as, okay, because these have happened before, these kinds of squeezes, how much of a pullback we can expect percentage-wise if they're trying to time when they might go back in?
Well, it is a market that is almost impossible to time, right? I also always love to say, I think I've said it on Yahoo Finance before, not to believe anyone who purports to know what's going to happen next when it comes to the price of Bitcoin, but pay attention to volume on the biggest crypto exchanges. Obviously there's Binance, there's Coinbase, there's Gemini, there's Kraken, and all of those metrics are always very public and easy to find. I mean, I think a lot of people who don't understand crypto don't realize just how publicly viewable the trading action is. And boy, sometimes in a bear market like we've had in the last 3 months, after those all-time highs of April, you see that Ethereum gets nearly dead. And you say, well, wait a minute. So people are holding on. People are leaving their positions alone. Then suddenly you start to see that activity ramp up. You say, okay, something is afoot here. Also, a couple really key Twitter accounts that I find useful as a crypto journalist that track the activities of whales, as they are called. People or institutions with huge wallet holdings in the space. And of course, again, all that is publicly viewable on the Bitcoin blockchain. So when you start to see activity from those whale wallets, that's when you can trust that something's about to happen, either big buying or big selling. And that's what happened in the last few days. There was just so much leverage and so many short positions over the last couple months as things had pulled back.
And Dan, another thing that the Amazon news and Bitcoin bounce really reinforced was how sensitive crypto prices are to news about institutional adoption. And I'm wondering, is this still one of the biggest headline drivers that investors should be watching right now?
Yeah, I would say it is. And, we all know that Bitcoin kind of got bigger than ever, more mainstream than ever during the pandemic. A lot of that was in response to people who believe that it's a hedge against inflation, that the actions of the Fed were seen as a good argument and use case for investing in crypto, but also Tesla's $1.5 billion worth buy of Bitcoin back in January was a huge mover. I mean, that was a real inflection point. And also not just Tesla, but companies like PayPal and Square buying in and embracing Bitcoin and showing that they at least believe that this is something worthwhile. This is something that's going to stick around. I point to those three, Square, PayPal, and Tesla, and their actions in the last year or so as being hugely important in the run-up that we saw to, again, that all-time high of 63,000 or so in April. So I think what publicly traded companies that are not just crypto companies, big tech companies, continue to do or not do in the crypto space is going to continue to be really important. And that's why any headline involving Amazon and crypto, no surprise that that would cause a momentary bump.
Why do they tend to go all in the same direction? I'm looking right now at the chart we just had up, and especially with Ethereum. Bitcoin, it pulled a lot of them down, but why Ethereum? It seemed to me the counter, not intuitive, but a counter reaction.
Well, I would say, Adam, they don't always behave in lockstep. I would say that Bitcoin and Ethereum often do because they're kind of the alpha and the omega, the gold and the silver. There's a time where people called Litecoin the silver to Bitcoin's gold. But nowadays, those are always the one and two. And most people, unless they are Bitcoin maximalists, that is people who believe there's only one God and that God is Bitcoin, most crypto traders are invested in both of those. And if you believe in the future of one, you're likely to believe the other is sticking around. Of course, I would always be careful to caution to viewers who aren't experts that they're very different. Bitcoin basically exists these days purely as an investment. People buy it as digital gold and hold on to it. Ethereum is a separate blockchain, a separate network created specifically to support smart contracts. So a lot of people think that Ethereum has many more exciting business use cases and applications in the future. But all that is just to say that, usually if Bitcoin is surging, you see Ethereum surge as well, but usually not as dramatically. And then when there's big news about DeFi, all of which is built on Ethereum, you see Ethereum move and usually Bitcoin as well. But not every day do all the coins behave the exact same way.
All right, and again, a relatively calm day in the crypto market today with Bitcoin just up about 0.4 percentage point right now. But thank you so much, Decrypt Editor-in-Chief Dan Roberts.